For months, diplomats from the so-called P5+1, the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council and Germany, have been shuttling back and forth around the world in meetings with Iran, attempting to strike a deal that will permanently curb Tehran's ability to quickly assemble a nuclear bomb in return for a rollback of the crippling sanctions which have laid the Iranian economy low. Now they have just a matter of days to go before the one-year deadline for the talks will officially expire on November 24th. An extension could be possible, but most parties agree that if a deal cannot be struck in Vienna now, where the negotiators are meeting, it will have little chance in a more politically difficult months ahead. Here are 5 things you need to know about the talks. Firstly, Iran has a uranium enrichment program well beyond its needs. Iran has spent the past few years building a huge number of centrifuges to enrich uranium at 2 principal sites in the country, one at Natanz and one in Fordo, deep in a mountain. The Islamic Republic currently has around 19,000 first-generation centrifuges. This means that based on current estimates, it would take Iran 6 months to enrich enough fuel to build a nuclear bomb. Secondly, curbing the time it will take Iran to have enough fuel to make a potential bomb is the P5+1's main objective. The so-called breakout time, currently at 6 months, needs to get to 12 months before most members of the P5+1 negotiating team will be comfortable. To do this, Iran has already agreed to dilute a stockpile of 20% enriched uranium back to 5%. But the questions remaining are, number 1, what happens to the remaining 5% stockpile? Number 2, what happens to the existing 19,000 centrifuges? And number 3, what happens to Iranian research into a new generation of even more advanced, faster centrifuges? Thirdly, no deal will be done by the P5+1 without major changes to Iran's reactor at Arak. Arguably, the Arak reactor poses an even greater proliferation threat than the enrichment facilities. Arak is a heavy water reactor, which means it is fed with unenriched uranium fuel. If it ever becomes operational, it will produce plutonium as a byproduct of its reactions, enough material for at least 1, perhaps 2 plutonium bombs annually. Negotiators will have to work out a solution for the facility to be completely redesigned to stop plutonium production there. Fourthly, transparency will be key. Iran has promised greater transparency about its activities in the past, but failed to live up to it. The International Atomic Energy Authority, the global body responsible for overseeing nuclear proliferation, will need truly unfettered access to make a future deal stick. Part of this will require Iran to be honest about the so-called possible military dimensions to its nuclear research, which the IAEA has long harbored suspicions over. Finally, Iran needs sanctions relief fast. Many of the restrictions on the Iranian nuclear program required by the P5+1 are technically achievable, but sequencing of these technical measures will be crucial. And on the one hand, while the P5+1 are very reluctant to undo sanctions quickly, on the other, Iran's negotiators need tangible benefits to take back to Tehran. All the signals from intelligence authorities are that Iran wants a nuclear deal, but diplomats will not be able to sell a defeat to skeptical hardliners at home. Minor sanctions relief, or relief deferred too far in the future, will likely not cut it. Sam Jones, Financial Times.